Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a tool that is designed to completely overhaul your MetaTrader 5 experience. Now, if you're an active trader, you know MT5 is a beast, but let's be honest, the interface can feel like you're fighting it every step of the way. We're about to look at a system that promises to change all of that.
So, does this hit a little close to home? You know, the markets are flashing by in real time, but you feel like you're clicking through menus that were designed back in the 90s. If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone.
I mean, these are the classics, right? You're scrambling to do risk calculations on your phone while the perfect setup is happening right now. You're clicking through endless confirmation boxes, or you realize you have 0 good ways to manage 2 different trades with 2 different strategies. Every single one of these things is a distraction, and it pulls your focus away from the only thing that actually matters, the price.
And that right there, that is the entire problem in one sentence. Your mental energy, your focus, it should be aimed at the market. You shouldn't be wasting it wrestling with your own tools. So what's the fix? Well, that brings us right here, the Astro Trade system. And like the slide says, this isn't just about adding a couple of fancy buttons to your chart. We're talking about a complete rework of how you actually trade.
So, what is it exactly? Astro Trade is a whole system that takes all the critical math of trading off your plate. But the detail I want you to notice is the custom C++ graphics engine. Now that isn't just some tech buzzword. What it really means for you is that it's built for speed, 0 lag performance. So your platform isn't going to freeze up on you in those critical, high volatility moments.
Okay, let's get into the most important part of this whole thing. We're talking about the #1 rule for any trader who wants to last in this game: risk management. Astro Trade builds its entire philosophy around this idea, and it automates the single most important decision you have to make. This quote really gets to the heart of it. The whole idea is to flip the script. Risk isn't something you think about after you get excited about a setup, it's the very first thing you define. It forces you to be disciplined on every single trade, because that discipline is baked right into the workflow. So how does that actually work? It's brilliantly simple. First, you decide on your risk. Let's say it's 1% of your account. Then you just drag your stop-loss line visually, right on the chart, to the exact price you want it. And as you're moving it, the lot size is being calculated instantly in the background. When you've got it just right, boom, 1 click and you're in. All that complicated math just becomes a simple visual action. And this slide just lays out the difference perfectly. You go from fumbling around with a calculator, guessing, making emotional decisions in the heat of the moment, to a system that gives you instant, precise, and disciplined execution. It takes human error out of the equation right when it matters most. Look, getting into a trade is only half the job, right? Any trader with some screen time knows that managing the trade once it's live, that's where you protect your capital and actually lock in your profits. So this system builds on that risk-first idea by also automating how you manage those open trades.
And a huge feature here is what they call per-ticket trailing. You know how in the standard MT5, a trailing stop is usually this one-size-fits-all setting for all your trades? Well, with Astro Trade, you can have totally unique rules for each position. So think about it. You could have a super tight, aggressive trail on a quick scalp trade, and at the exact same time have a much wider, looser trail on a long-term swing trade to catch a bigger move, both running perfectly. The system also gives you these other game-changing tools. You can set it to automatically move your stop-loss to break even as soon as you hit a certain profit target, giving you that amazing psychological relief of a free ride. You can also close out a piece of your position, say 50%, with just 1 click to bank some gains. And of course, everything stays visual, with simple drag and drop on the chart. So, great execution is one thing, but you also need clear, simple feedback on how you're doing. This next bit is all about turning your terminal from a cluttered mess into a clean, professional cockpit that gives you the exact data you need right when you need it. This is basically your trading heads-up display. You get this slick, auto-hiding info bar with all your key account stats. You get these little mini charts or spark lines that show you the P&L history of each open trade. There's a daily P&L tracker, so you know when you've hit your goal and it's time to walk away. And the event console gives you total transparency, logging everything the automation does in the background. No guesswork. Okay, so let's put it all together. To really drive home the value here, we're going to look at a direct feature-for-feature comparison against the standard MT5 platform. This is where it becomes crystal clear just how much of an upgrade this really is. I mean, this table really says it all, doesn't it?
The user interface goes from that old, rigid style to something modern that actually looks good on a 4K screen. Risk management goes from you doing manual math to it being completely automatic. Position control goes from that clunky modify order box to just dragging lines on your chart. And vital automation features are built right in, instead of needing some other separate EA that might conflict with your other tools. All right. Now, whenever we talk about software this powerful, a few practical questions always come to mind. So let's do a little rapid-fire Q&A and knock out the most common ones, starting with the big one about cost. And the answer is refreshingly simple. Nope. It's a one-time fee for a lifetime license. That model is pretty rare these days, and the fact that it includes all future updates, well, that's a huge deal for its long-term value. Okay, next up, compatibility. Well, can you actually trade with this thing? If you're trading more than just Forex, you've got to know if your tools can handle it. And the answer is a big, emphatic yes. The system is built to work with literally any symbol your broker has in MT5. So whether you're trading the S&P 500, gold, crude oil, or even crypto, you're covered. Okay, this one is a critical, technical question. What happens to all your fancy automation, your trailing stops, your break-even moves, if your power goes out or your internet drops? And the answer here is a straight up no. And that makes sense, right? Like any expert advisor, the brain is running on your computer. So for that automation to be working 24/7, your MT5 terminal has to be up and running. That's why the professional standard and what they recommend is to use a virtual private server, a VPS, to run your platform around the clock. And that really brings us to the final and I think the most important question of all. After seeing how this system handles all the tedious stuff, the risk, the management, the analytics, it kind of boils down to this. Are you ready to stop managing your software and finally start focusing all your energy on managing your trades? A pretty powerful thought to leave you with.